Hi guys, my name's Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. Bitcoin offers many differences from fiat-based equivalents, but one major difference is how its money supply is handled. Thank you for joining me. As you may be aware, Bitcoin has a supply decrease every 4 years. It's been dubbed the Halvening, or the halving event. And what happens is the amount of Bitcoin that get issued every 10-minute block to miners gets cut in half every 4 years. When Bitcoin began, it had a 50 Bitcoin per block reward. And after 4 years, that got dropped to 25 Bitcoin, and then it dropped to 12.5. And next will be 6.25. And that is the halving that is coming up shortly. One thing that I want to point out is this very obvious difference from fiat-based money systems. And that is that fiat is continuously printed into existence by governments around the world. And the average lifespan of a currency for this reason is about 27 years. And the reason it ends is because it ends in a hyperinflation, with it being utterly worthless. And this has been the fate of basically every currency, every fiat-based currency that has ever existed. Bitcoin differs in that its inflation model decreases over time. It's not that it ever becomes deflationary, but its inflation goes down over every 4-year period. And I believe this is a major contributing factor to the boom and bust, bull run and bear market cycles that we have seen. They have taken approximately 4 years, and I don't think that's a coincidence. In fact, there are some data points that seem to indicate that this boom and bust cycle is actually a more or less direct causation of the halving events on Bitcoin. So I want to just put that out there for you guys, something to think about. Would you rather have your money, have your wealth, have your savings in something that is guaranteedly losing value over time? Or would you rather store your wealth in something that is going to appreciate in value over time? Because if the demand remains constant or increases, such as in Bitcoin's case, and the supply issuance rate decreases over time, there's really only one direction for the price to go, and that is up. It's a simple supply and demand equation. And fiat is a good example of the exact opposite of that. You have an increasing amount of money being pumped into the system. And I'll put a chart here just to show what I'm talking about. Over time, you can see that more and more dollars have been printed into existence. And when that hits the economy, that just devalues all of our money in greater and greater amounts. And the amounts that are needed to keep the system afloat become larger and larger. So what you see is an increasing, steepening amount of inflation. And this will only continue. And unfortunately, the end result will likely be no different than every other currency before its time. It will end in hyperinflation. Fortunately, this time around, we have safe haven assets known as cryptocurrencies, which offer us not only an escape from the inflation, but a decreasingly inflationary model over time. And that is what has me so excited about the freedom that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies bring to the table for you and me, because for the first time in history, we now have an option to escape this horribly designed system. So I look forward to the next Bitcoin halving event. As we say, a rising tide often raises all ships, and I think all altcoins will follow along with the money that is being pumped into the system. So really, fiat-based currencies like the US dollar and others around the world are polar opposites to that of Bitcoin and other proof of work and proof of stake mechanisms, where we have a decreasing or at least constant inflation instead of an increase. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
You got a voice, I got a voice, we got a voice, you got a choice, I got a choice, we got a choice, you got a voice, I got a voice, we got